my dad. My dad has the right to talk to you.
No, he doesn't. I will talk to you in a minute, sir, okay? Thank you.
The scratching of fingernails against a uniform sleeve marks the exact moment a civil parking dispute collapses into a criminal event. What begins as a conversation about a white sedan and a tow truck transforms within seconds into a physical struggle on the pavement of a Dane County apartment complex. The wind catches the audio of a female officer breathless from exertion, while a suspect screams accusations of assault in a crowded parking lot. This is not a high-speed chase or a bank robbery in progress, but a mundane administrative task that spiraled out of control. The entire interaction, captured on police body cam, illustrates how quickly a refusal to comply with a lawful order can shift the legal ground beneath a citizen's feet. The morning sun casts long shadows over the asphalt, where a tow truck idles with its engine rumbling in the background. A resident named Regina stands guard over her white vehicle. She is agitated and firmly planted between the front windshield of her car and a female police officer attempting to conduct an investigation. The dispute centers on a parking space that the apartment management claims is unauthorized for personal use. Regina insists she has permission to be there. She cites a verbal agreement from months prior with a different employee. The current property manager, a man in a blue shirt standing nearby, disputes this claim and has authorized the removal of the vehicle. This disagreement over property rules is a civil matter, but the presence of law enforcement shifts the dynamic entirely. The officer needs to document the vehicle to proceed with the investigation regarding the parking complaint. To do this, she requires the vehicle identification number, or VIN, which is located on the dashboard, and the license plate number. Regina, however, views this data collection as an infringement of her rights, rather than a standard police procedure. She positions her body directly in the path of the officer's line of sight. When the officer steps to the left, Regina steps to the left. When the officer attempts to move around the vehicle, Regina mirrors the movement. It is a physical stalemate that transforms a static situation into an active obstruction of justice.
Can you please tell me
Regina
that,
demands to
ma'am?
know why the data is necessary before
She
she will
doesn't want
allow
to tell me why
access
she
to
want to copy.
it. Just got to get the plate off your car, the officer states efficiently. Regina immediately counters with, "You don't." The officer repeats her intention. Regina escalates her verbal challenge. "Why do you need to do that?" she asks repeatedly. The officer attempts to bypass the debate. "Are you have to drive away?" the officer asks.
Don't touch me.
Regina confirms she is leaving.
I'm touching myself.
"Okay, go ahead," the officer says, granting permission for the subject to simply leave the scene and end the encounter. Regina does not leave. Instead, she remains fixed in her position and continues to block the officer while holding up a phone to record the interaction. "You don't need my license plate," Regina asserts. This is a critical legal juncture known as the refusal to comply with a lawful order. In the state of Wisconsin, as in most jurisdictions, impeding an officer who is conducting an official act creates criminal liability. The officer is investigating a complaint solicited by the property owner. Therefore, the officer has a legal right and duty to identify the property involved. Regina's belief that she can gatekeep this information creates a direct conflict with State Statute 946.41. This statute governs resisting or obstructing an officer. It defines obstruction as knowingly giving false information or knowingly placing physical obstacles in the way of an officer performing an official duty. The officer attempts to explain that the conversation is over and the investigation must proceed. Regina continues her interrogation of the officer.
Stop touching me, please.
"Why do you need to copy my license plate?" she demands. She accuses the officer of believing she is not a valid driver. The officer clarifies that the license status is not the issue. The issue is the vehicle itself. Regina is not satisfied. She demands the officer's name and continues to block access to the dashboard. "I'm recording her," Regina announces to the gathering crowd. She doesn't want to tell me why she wants to copy my life display. The mispronunciation of license plate underscores the chaotic nature of her protest. The officer decides that the obstruction has gone on long enough. She attempts to physically bypass Regina to see the dashboard. Regina physically moves to intercept her. The officer issues a clear warning. "Please don't touch me," the officer says. Regina immediately inverts the accusation. "Don't touch me. This is my car,"
You're being
she
recorded
shouts.
this entire time.
The spatial boundary between the two women collapses. The body cam footage shows the camera shaking as the officer tries to maneuver around the suspect. Regina's voice rises in pitch. I'm touching myself and
you will
not
stay
her,
right here
she
until my partner
claims,
comes.
despite the close quarters jostling visible on the video. The situation has now crossed the threshold from verbal non-compliance to physical resistance. The officer attempts to open the car door to perhaps move the vehicle or identify it, but Regina slams her body against the vehicle to prevent access. I'm trying to open my car door, Regina screams, though her actions suggest she is sealing the car off rather than entering it. The officer issues a lawful command for Regina to move away from the vehicle. Regina refuses. Get away from me, Regina shouts, while simultaneously stepping toward the officer to maintain her blockade. The officer decides to detain Regina.
Stop!
This is a seizure under the Fourth Amendment, justified by the probable cause that Regina is obstructing the investigation. You're being detained, the officer announces. She reaches for Regina's arm to secure her. The reaction is explosive. Regina pulls away violently. I didn't touch you, honey. Can you hang out with me? The officer commands her to turn around and place her hands behind her back. Regina does not comply. Instead, she stiffens her arms and struggles against the officer's grip. This action constitutes active resistance. A civilian witness, the tow truck driver who has been waiting to remove the vehicle, sees the female officer struggling to control the flailing suspect. He makes a split-second decision to intervene.
Not right now, because I don't know what's going on.
I can't show you and wraps his arms around Regina to assist the officer in bringing her to the ground. This is a rare
here's what's
and
going to
risky
happen. I'm going to walk you
dynamic
to
in a
the
police
SWAT
confrontation. While civilians can assist officers at the officer's request, acting independently opens a complex liability
No, why am I walking to the SWAT car?
However,
You are currently
in this
detained.
moment, the driver
what?
acts
For
to prevent
touching me.
injury
I never
to the
said she
officer.
said
Regina
touch her.
screams
Did I
in
touch her?
shock.
Walk. Did I
He's a
touch
man.
her? Walk.
A man
Thank you.
touch me,
Touch her.
she
Okay,
yells.
walk. Stop touching
A
me.
man is not
Listen to the
supposed to touch me.
Stop touching me.
The struggle goes to
We don't need to make this worse,
The
right?
camera captures
Let's
a
just
blur
walk.
of
Can you
asphalt
take me,
and
please?
sky. The
I
audio
need my
becomes a
phone.
cacophony of
get
commands and
I
screams.
need my
Stop
phone.
resisting, the officer commands repeatedly.
Stop touching me. You need to
Regina
cooperate.
shouts back.
I'm
I'm not resisting. Even as she refuses to pull her arms out from under her body to be handcuffed. The disconnect between her words and her actions is
I'll let this other
profound.
officer grab on your arm.
Resisting with
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Where we going?
But
We're
in
gonna
the
walk
eyes
over here,
of the
okay?
law,
Thank you so
resisting
much.
includes
What's your name?
tensing muscles,
Regina,
hiding
okay.
hands,
need
or
to
refusing
release
to
him
move
now.
limbs into a
Okay, well,
handcuffing position.
right now, until I know what's going on, I'm not releasing
Okay,
her.
I'm
Eventually,
sorry.
the
Can she please
civilian
remove? Get up,
manages to
please. I
secure
want her away from me.
Regina's
Right now, we're gonna
hands
face. Okay, that's
behind her
fine. But can you tell her please let me?
The handcuffs
Okay,
scratch
she's
her
walking away.
shut.
Okay, thank you. But
The
she's not
immediate
walking away. Can you
physical
tell her
threat
move,
is
please?
neutralized, but the verbal chaos continues.
Listen, you need to just
Regina
relax.
is now
I know, but
seated
she
on
touched
the
me for no
curb.
reason. How
She
should I
is
feel?
breathless and immediately
Just face that way.
claims a
I'm gonna
medical
search you, okay?
emergency.
I don't have
I
nothing.
have
I don't have to search
asthma,
me.
so I have to get
You got
up.
nothing on you?
She
I don't have
pleads.
pockets. Okay, all
The
right. I'm
officer,
just gonna pat you
still
down, okay?
recovering from the physical exertion, denies the request to stand immediately.
Struggling with her
The
for a little
scene
bit.
must be
They're still basically
stabilized
struggling
before
with her.
any
I see
further
her upset.
movement is
Why are you
allowed.
patting me down? I didn't do nothing wrong.
To demand that the officer
You're in
look at the
handcuffs.
video
I gotta make sure you don't have any weapons on you.
believing
They
it
all
will
just told us I
exonerate
didn't
her.
touch her.
I just got here,
Look
okay?
at that
Here's the
video,
deal.
she asks.
Here's the deal.
She seems unable to
Here's the deal.
grasp that the
She
video
allowed the
likely
other man to
contains
touch me.
evidence
I
of
can't
her
look at the
own
video until I
obstruction.
have you calm
Additional
down,
units
okay?
arrive on
I
the
want to
scene.
look at the video.
A male
get arrested.
sergeant
I can get me wrong.
approaches to take
We're going to
command
have you
of
sit
the
in the squad car and then we're going to investigate what happened.
I'm not sitting in that SWAT car now.
That
I took my Mariana breath. I tried to need my inhaler. She tackled me without my inhaler.
He begins the
I'm
process
not
of
the I was
debriefing the arresting
I would
officer
sit down or
and the
stand up, but
witnesses.
I'm not going to go
The
anywhere.
female officer
I can't
explains the
breathe. Sorry,
sequence
you're
of
gonna sit down.
events.
Right here. I'm
All
not
I
going
was
to go
trying
anywhere.
to do is
I
get the
promise I
plate,
won't.
All I
she
was
tells
trying to
the
do is get the
sergeant.
plate. She would not
She
get out of the way.
describes how
And
Regina
when I was trying to
refused
get
to
the
move
bin,
and
she's
how the
like,
situation devolved
this
into a
girl. I said,
wrestling
get away
match.
from me.
She notes that
And
Regina
she
was
wouldn't,
digging
so I
into me during the
tried to
handcuffing
get her away from
process.
me. It's turned into this whole
detail
thing.
is
And when I'm trying to put her in
If
her cuffs, she's
Regina
like,
scratched the
digging
officer
into me.
intentionally,
She wouldn't
the
stop.
charges
Can
could
I tell you guys what
upgrade to
happened?
battery
They
to
were
a
trying
law
to
enforcement
take my
officer.
car now. Long story short,
Class
right?
H
Hold
felony in
on. You get
Wisconsin.
cuffs on you. I'm just going to
The
read you your
sergeant
rights,
then
okay?
speaks to
Because
the
I don't want you to say
department
anything that
The
could
manager
possibly incriminate
confirms
you.
the
So I just want to make sure we're doing this the right
He
way, okay?
explains that
Okay, that's
Regina
cool.
was using a spot
Just going
that
to read
was
you your
never
rights, okay?
assigned to
Yeah, the
her.
rights remain
He
silent. Anything you say
clarifies that
can
a
will be used
previous
against you in a court of
employee
law.
might have
Do you
allowed her
understand
to
these
load
rights?
kids there
That's what
months
she's doing
ago.
too.
Okay.
But that
They were
permission
trying
did
to tow
not
my truck.
extend to
My
permanent
compass gave me
parking.
permission
This
to park my
establishes
car
the
there.
legitimacy
He said it
of
was
the
okay.
initial tow
The guy in the blue
request.
shirt?
The
And who
police
is
were
he?
not acting
He's the permit people.
arbitrarily.
So,
They were enforcing
long
the
story
property
short,
rights of the
the lady
landlord.
came. She was trying to record
Regina's
my
premise for
VIN
the
number and
entire
license plate. I
standoff
asked
was
her, like,
based on a
ma'am,
misunderstanding
can you
of
tell
her
me
own
why
lease
that you
or
want this
verbal
information?
agreements.
And who's
Regina's
her?
father
Who's the lady?
arrives at
The other
scene.
police officer, I don't know her
His
name. She never even told me her name on the
presence
scene.
introduces a
She hopped on the
stark
scene, didn't
generational
tell me the
contrast in
name.
how to interact
Why
with
she wanted
law
my information? I said,
enforcement.
ma'am, I do have
He
the
is
right to know.
calm.
Why are
He
you
is
taking my
Where
VIN number?
was your
He
car?
listens to the
Right back
sergeant's
there. It's
explanation
that white one?
without
Mhm.
interrupting.
Okay.
I said, I do have the right to know why you to take my information now. She will not tell me, okay, you're not going to copy my information then. You're not going to tell me what I do have that right to know. You know what I'm saying? She will not tell me. She was asinine. So I'm like blocking right in front of them so she could take my life right now. So she's pushing me. I'm lifting my hands. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. So then she decides to say, stop resisting. Then she allowed that man to put his hands on me. You're not a police officer. She allowed that man to slam me down, throw me on the ground with some more stuff.
This admission from the father is telling.
So this was all on video?
All on video. They have it all on video. All the police charges on him and their company.
So this tow company was here already?
Yeah, they were here already.
Okay.
Even if you believe
Can you
the
start with telling me
officer is
kind of
wrong
what,
about the
like,
underlying
So I woke
issue.
up this morning
The
to
sergeant
the gentleman
continues to
and her
explain
kind
the
of arguing
escalation.
about her
He
about her
describes
vehicle.
how the
She
officer
lives
warned
here.
Regina that she would be
was
detained.
telling them essentially
He
I literally
explains that
can't tow my
Regina
stuff.
refused to
Property manager
comply.
comes out to let
He
them know that
details
she
the physical
can't tow her
altercation.
stuff.
The
I don't
father
know.
does
Then the
not make
cops showed up,
excuses for his
and then
daughter.
they're trying to get
He
her
does not
vehicle
scream
number
about
and her license
injustice.
plate.
He accepts
And she
the
was
facts
letting
as
them know,
presented.
I don't want you to have my
Regina is
vehicle number
seated
and my
in the back
license
of the
plate.
squad car.
And the cop and
She
her kind of going
continues to
around the
argue
car
her case
like
to the
a
windows.
merry-go-round.
She
And then
demands
this
to
is where
speak to her
it
father.
got
That's my
intense.
dad. My dad
She
has the
just
right
came
to talk,
straight
she
through
insists. The
and was being
officer
pretty
denies
aggressive.
his request. No,
I get
he
the
doesn't.
situation was
The officer
escalated and there was
corrects
a
her.
lot going on.
When a suspect is
And then the
detained
guys
during
came
an
over
active
and helped throw her on the
investigation,
ground.
they do not have a constitutional
Non-officers
right to
tow
consult
truck
with family
Could you hear
members on the
anything being
scene.
said?
Oh,
Their
yes,
rights are
I
to
can hear
remain
my
silent
speaker's
and to
pretty
have an
low.
attorney, but
But
those
she
rights
kept
are
saying, "Don't touch
exercised
me,
within
don't
the
touch me."
judicial
Now that I
process.
have
We're going to
not
watch all the video,
curbside.
get everything figured
The
out, okay?
sergeant approaches the father to
So
deliver
who
the
called the
final
tow truck?
disposition of the
I don't know,
event.
man. Bring my
She's
phone over
being
here.
charged
No,
with
you're not going to be able to use the phone.
resisting
You're not going to be able to use the phone.
FaceTime,
He
FaceTime
informs the
daddy.
father
And you
that
can put the
Regina
phone in
will
my
be
face. I can
transported
see.
to the
No,
Dane
you
County
can't.
Jail.
You're detained right now.
She
When
will
we're
not
all
be
done with
released
this,
that
then
day.
you can call whoever you
She's
want.
in a
Grab
judge
my
I'm not
phone.
talking to anybody right now.
I can
sergeant
talk. I have the right to talk to you.
We're going to put her in the SWAT.
Father asks if they can let her out
Yep, you're being
sooner.
detained right
The
now, okay?
sergeant
So you
shakes
can't
his
talk to
head.
anybody.
The reason
right here.
for
Look
the
at the
strict
AC
hold
going,
is the
okay?
injury
We're just
to
going to
the
be sitting in the car
officer.
right now.
The
You're trying to
officer's
detain
got
me.
claw marks
You are
into her
detained. You're
arms,
handcuffed.
the
They
sergeant
trying.
reveals.
You don't gotta be smart.
This physical injury
But I'm
removes
just saying
the
you don't gotta be.
possibility of a simple
Alright, have a seat,
suspension
Regina, okay?
from
And you're not able to
release.
talk to
It
anybody.
elevates the severity of
Put
the
your feet in, we'll get the air going, okay?
The father's response is one
Not right
of
now.
resignation
No, that
and
man can talk to me. That's my
disappointment.
dad. My dad
I
has the
don't
right to
like
talk to
this
me.
any more than you do.
I will talk to you in a minute,
the
sir, okay?
sergeant
Thank you.
says.
Appreciate it.
Bridging
I
the
didn't do
gap
anything wrong.
between
Again, I'm not
enforcer and
detained.
parent.
I'm not detained.
You are
I can't
detained,
have her
okay?
putting hands on an officer.
You're detained until we figure
The
this
father
investigation
agrees,
out,
saying,
okay?
Absolutely.
As soon as I'm done talking to
He
you, I can go
promises
talk to them,
her.
okay?
I'll talk to her and let her know that, you
All
know,
right, we're still trying to
your
figure this out.
actions,
It sounds like there
you
was a
know,
dispute
no
over,
matter
there was a
whether you
tow
were right
or
or
something.
wrong, you can't
Her
do
vehicle was
that.
getting towed.
This
An
sentence
officer responded out.
encapsulates the
Physical
lesson of the
interaction
entire
happened between her and the
incident.
officer. I'm
The
still trying to sort
validity
it
of
all
the
out.
parking
Okay?
spot argument
I'm
became
keeping. I
null
want you guys
and
to.
void
I'll
the
let you
moment
talk to her once I
Regina
can figure out
decided
what's
to
going on and what's
physically
happening.
oppose the
But right now,
police.
she's
The
in
legal
handcuffs. She's
framework
detained. There was a
surrounding this
physical fight.
viral arrest video is
So what do you
clear.
guys got?
Wisconsin
Blue shirt
Statute
manager. He said that she was able to use that
946.41
spot
states
from a
that
different
anyone
employee
who
months ago
knowingly
for loading and
resists or
unloading
obstructs
kids.
an
Not
officer
an actual
while
parking
such
spot.
officer is
Apparently she's
doing
using
any
an
act
actual
in an
parking
official
spot.
capacity is guilty of a Class A
Tries to get plate
misdemeanor.
information. You go to the
Obstruction
detainer because she won't let you do
preventing
your
the officer from
investigation
obtaining
and
evidence,
fights on.
such as a bin.
She's physically
Furthermore,
blocking me.
Wisconsin Statute
Like you're
940.20
investigating a parking violation,
subsection 2
and we're
makes it a
requested here by
felony to intentionally
the tow
cause
company was
bodily
called by
harm
man.
to a law enforcement
After figuring
officer.
out what happened, the sergeant
claw
now
marks mentioned
explains
by
the
sergeant
situation to the
provide
suspect's
probable
father.
cause for
So
this
the officer gets
enhanced
out here,
charge.
that's
The
getting figured
defense
out.
attorney
The
for
officer then
Regina will
goes to
likely
look at
argue
the
that she
vehicle
did not
information
intend to
to
injure the
investigate whatever
officer.
parking thing
They
that
may
it
argue that her movements were a
daughter was
reflex
blocking
to
the
being
officer from
touched by a
getting
stranger.
the
They
vehicle's
will
VIN number
emphasize her
or plate.
statement.
So she was
I'm touching
impeding the
myself and
investigation.
not her.
So
To
during
suggest she
that,
was
the
trying
officer
to
asked
create
your
a
daughter to
defensive
move away
barrier
from the
rather
vehicle
than
so
an
she could do what she
offensive
needed to do.
They
At that
might
point,
also
your
attack the
daughter does
involvement
not
of
go
the
with
tow
that.
truck
The officer then
driver,
tells her
arguing
she's
that
going to get
his
detained
intervention
and put in
escalated the
handcuffs if
force
she
used
keeps
against a
acting the way
woman
she
who was
is.
merely
That
standing
doesn't
her
go over
ground.
well, and then
However,
the officer goes to put her in
prosecution
handcuffs,
has a strong case
and then
based
your
on the
daughter and the
Bodycam
officer then get
footage.
into a physical
The video
altercation.
clearly shows the officer giving
You're
multiple
charged with resisting
opportunities for
arrest.
compliance. The officer issued
So
clear
she's going
warnings.
to the jail,
The
Dane County
officer
jail.
attempted to
She's the
de-escalate
judge
by
Monday.
walking around the
So we can't
suspect.
go out today?
Not today.
Regina's
Because
persistent
she's got-
movement
the
to block
officer's
the
got claw
officer
marks into her arm.
establishes the intent required for the obstruction
So I'm being real straight with you. I don't like this any more than you do because this is over something ridiculously stupid. I can't have her putting hands on an officer. So I get it. I don't like this any more than you do, and I'm a dad too, and I know the last thing I want to see.
impact of this
But I
resisting
can't
arrest
have that behavior.
incident highlights a growing cultural tension. The sergeant notes it himself in a candid moment with the father.
It's not the
He
time or
calls the
place to have
incident
an argument.
ridiculously stupid. He laments that a parking violation
If there's
turned
anything
into
I
a
can do,
jailing. This reflects a pattern seen in many police confrontation videos, where
To all the cops out there, you ever walk into a scene and realize the real problem isn't the call, it's the culture. You're standing there dealing with a simple parking issue, nothing dramatic, and somehow it turns into a full-blown dramatic scene. Do you have to ask yourself, when did being civilized start feeling optional, and when did acting like an adult turn into something people treat like oppression? Because this wasn't about danger or injustice. This wasn't even about the officer. This was about someone who couldn't hear the word no. And in 2025, I believe that mindset shows up on calls more than domestic disputes and traffic crashes combined.
a
We
case
watch a
study
grown
for the
adult cover her
sovereign
VIN number like
citizen
she's trying to
style of
hide evidence in broad
argumentation that
daylight,
has
as if the
permeated
truth stops
public
existing the moment her
discourse.
hand touches
While
the glass.
Regina
That's
does
when I got
not
a Philly
explicitly
flashback,
claim
not
to be
because
a
this was a
sovereign
violent situation,
citizen,
but because she
her
was petty,
repeated
loud, and
questions
impossible to
of,
reason with.
"Why
And this
do
is the
you
stuff
need
that drains cops more
and
than the
her
dangerous calls
assertion that
ever
the
will. Then we get the
officer
tow
has
truck
no
guy
right
jumping
to
in to
her
help
license
control her,
plate
but there's
echo
also
the
risk involved,
arguments
because
often
every
heard
helpful
in
hand
those
could become a
circles.
witness, a
There
headline,
is
or a
a
possible defendant
fundamental
later. The tow truck guy
misunderstanding of
wrapped
the
his arms
police
around someone he
power
didn't
to
know, trying to keep her
investigate.
from hurting the
When a
officer. And the sad
property
part,
owner
he'll probably have
calls
to
the
justify
police
his
to
actions
remove a
longer than the woman who
vehicle,
caused the whole
that
scene. Then we hear the
vehicle
part that tells the
becomes
whole
the
story,
subject
her
of
father showing up. He was calm, respectful,
owner
and he
of the
listened to the
vehicle
sergeant,
does
not
not have a
performing for the
privacy
camera.
right
Two
that
generations, same
supersedes the
family, but worlds
officer's
apart in how
need
they
to
deal with
identify the
conflict, and it
car.
makes you wonder how the gap
tow
got
truck
so wide
driver's
so
role
fast.
adds
This
another layer
suspect,
of
Regina,
complexity.
was charged with
By
resisting
physically
obstructing a
engaging
peace
the woman
officer.
versus
She is
police
innocent
officer
unless proven
dynamic,
guilty in a
he
court of law.
exposed himself to potential
was it
civil
this car?
liability. If Regina suffered an injury during the takedown, she could sue him for battery. However, Wisconsin law often provides protections for citizens who assist law enforcement at their request or in emergencies where an officer is in
Are you about to
danger.
drive away?
The sergeant did not rebuke the driver, suggesting the department viewed his actions as helpful rather than hindering.
is not like a game.
The father stands as the counterexample to the obstruction of justice witnessed minutes earlier. His behavior
Are you
offers a
saying, like, you're not
template
a
for
valid
how to
driver?
handle a police encounter involving a family member. He remained calm. He gathered facts. He did not interfere with the arrest. He accepted the reality of the situation. By doing so, he established a rapport with the sergeant that allowed him to get clear information about his daughter's status. Had he arrived screaming and aggressive, he too might have ended up in handcuffs, leaving no one on the outside to advocate for Regina or post her bail. The lessons from this case are stark. The first is that physical resistance against a police officer is a futile and dangerous choice. It never results in the officer walking away. It almost always results in additional charges that are far more severe than the original offense. Regina was facing a towing fee. Now she faces a criminal record, legal fees, jail time, and the stigma of a felony arrest. The cost-benefit analysis of her decision to block the VIN is catastrophically negative. A second lesson involves the recording of police. Regina held her phone up as a shield, believing that the act of filming gave her immunity or power. While citizens have a First Amendment right to record police in public, that right does not allow them to physically interfere with the officer's duties. Holding a phone does not turn a block of the body into a protected act of journalism. The bodycam footage from the officer provides the counter-narrative that usually defeats these selective recordings in court. The final takeaway is regarding the rights of property owners versus vehicle owners. If you live in an apartment complex, your parking rights are defined by your lease, not by verbal permission given by a past employee. If management revokes that permission, they have the right to tow. Fighting the tow truck driver or the police officer enforcing that tow is legally baseless. The proper remedy is to pay the tow fee and then sue the landlord in small claims court for the cost. That is the civilized legal method for resolving such disputes. As the squad car pulls away with Regina in the back seat, the parking lot returns to a quiet street. The tow truck driver finishes hooking up the white sedan. The father stands alone on the sidewalk, left to deal with the fallout of his daughter's choices. The officer examines the scratches on her arm, documenting the evidence of a day that went wrong. The system moves forward, processing one more case of obstruction of justice that never needed to happen. The scratches will heal, but the criminal record created in these few minutes of anger will last a lifetime. This is the unforgiving reality of the legal system when it collides with human pride. For the public, this serves as a warning. When an officer says, "Stop resisting," the only legal move is to stop. When an officer asks for a VIN, the only smart move is to step aside. The fight for your rights happens in a courtroom with a lawyer, not in a parking lot with your fingernails. Regina learned this lesson the hard way, and through the lens of the police body cam, the rest of the world gets to learn it for free. The wind blows through the empty parking space. The only evidence left that a car and a life was parked there just moments ago.